Thank you so much for joining us, Matapelo. I mean, over 600 people arrested in Gauteng alone. Do we have the figures as far as Johannesburg and Tshwane and some of the capitals in Gauteng are concerned?
Well, indeed, this comes after our weekend operations, and these are conducted across all districts. We have 5 districts according to the municipal borders. So in Johannesburg alone, we arrested over 160 suspects, and in Tshwane, it was also over 160, but most of these were arrested in the big metros. That's your Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, as well as Johannesburg.
Let's talk about some of the offences that have been committed here. What crimes are we looking at?
We're looking at a variety of crimes, especially also in different areas. We've got contact crimes where people have been arrested for incidents such as attempted murder, attempted robberies, and most of these operations also were targeting illegal liquor outlets. So some of them were also arrested for drinking under the influence of alcohol, because as we approach the festive season, these are some of the crimes that we are looking at to make sure that we don't have a spike as we do normally over the festive season. So it's quite a variety of crimes, because if I can go back to our Okaimola operations, which are conducted earlier in the week. So now as we are intensifying, we're also arresting wanted suspects. Just on Thursday, this past Thursday, we arrested over 700 wanted suspects who've got warrants of arrest on their names. So it's a variety of crimes that people are arrested for.
Yeah, and after the arrests have been made, what charges do some of these over 600 people face?
Well, like I said, it's for different charges. So some of them will be facing possession of drugs, possession of unlicensed firearms. Some were arrested for possession of stolen vehicles, which were found in some of our roadblocks. So it's a variety of crimes which then they appear in court, some of them today, some tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you find that in bigger sporting events and weekends, such as the Rugby World Cup, you have to make sure that you intensify operations to avoid and also to look out for such crimes?
Well, we do find that in such occasions, we need to deploy just to be on the safe side, although we do find that some of our fans and excited people who are quite excited at that time are quite cooperative. Although quite a number of arrests are made, especially by the metros, these would be for drinking under the influence of alcohol. But with the campaigns that we've been conducting and the intensified operations, we do find that there is a reduction in those type of arrests.
And Matapelo, any other operation? I know that Okaimola is one of the biggest operations, even on social media, that trends a lot. Are there other intensive or intensified operations that we should expect in the coming days or weeks?
Well, on the instruction of the Provincial Commissioner, we will be launching our festive season this coming Friday. So we will be expecting to see police, and they integrated with the law enforcement officers from the metros, from Gauteng traffic. We will be all over the streets. We will be intensifying these operations, and these will be roadblocks. We will also be going to bed buildings. We will also be continuing with our raids on the illicit economy, because now with this festive being characterized by shopping, people will tend to go and for counterfeit goods. So we will be intensifying our operations.
And any warning or even word of advice that you would like to give to South Africans, especially ahead of these operations that are coming up, and perhaps even pedestrians on the road, drivers on the road, what do they need to be cautious of?
Yes, sure. Especially with road fatalities, we found that a number of our pedestrians and car crashes as well. So we would really want to caution our members of the public to be more careful. For some reason, it just goes up over the festive season. So if they could drive carefully, avoid going to parties, and then you've got services like your e-hailing services that can be utilized instead of driving by yourself, as well as just also staying safe and making sure that if you're going to travel, for instance, that your house is secured and protected, and there's somebody that you trust who can keep an eye over it. But also with our matriculants and all those learners who are writing exams, we've got this problem that we have after exams, and then they're celebrating, where you find date rapes and irresponsible drinking, a whole lot of crimes that could really have been avoided. So we do this every festive season, but once again, we won't stop. So we are still appealing to our members of the public. And I must hasten to say that over the past months, we have found that the members of the public have been more cooperative. They've been coming to us with crime tips and information about criminal activities, and I believe that is why we're making the huge successes in terms of arrests.
Yeah. Let's also talk about, you know, some of the crimes that are quite prevalent at this time. I mean, we're ahead of the festive season. You've made mention that you know, the SAPS is intensifying you know, operations and making sure they're ready ahead of the festive season to make sure that everyone is safe and well guarded. But what are some of the crimes that are usually take a spike at this time of the year?
Well, and that is why we are partnering with private security as well as the security at the malls, because we do find a lot of robberies at malls and also on people, because for some reason people still believe in carrying cash. We haven't had as much problems in the past 2 festive seasons, but we still appeal to your Stockfell kind of people who are carrying cash for that's meant to be shared by a number of people. So they should rather go for electronic transfers. So it's crimes that involve a lot of cash, and then also crimes that get generated from illegal and irresponsible consumption of liquor, like at taverns. Then you find two people fighting, and then one of them gets killed or stabbed or whatever.
Sure, and thank you so much, Matapelo, for the work that you do, but also for joining us right here on The Upfront.